Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Tech Tip Tuesday. I'm your host. My name is Ken Close, Healy World Member USA, engineer and lifer, I think, for Healy. And I am joined by our awesome co-host, Jake Barron, Head of Operations for the Americas. Hey, Jake, how are you?
Great. How you doing, Ken? Good evening, everyone.
Good to see you. Thanks for being here. And we have in the background from the customer service department live, Christian is with us tonight, helping us in the background. So make sure you say hello to Christian, and thank you for being here as well.
Yep, thank you.
It's really excited to be able to have a crew like this, that we can just unpack almost anything. So let me tell you a little bit about Tech Tip Tuesday, you guys that are new. This is a chat-based forum where you put your questions in the chat, and then we will bring them live on the call and unpack them, answer them, solve them, give you as much content as we can on the subject. And Christian as well will add pieces and parts in the chat. So make sure that you guys pay attention to that. What we can't do is we don't treat, diagnose, prevent, or talk about diseases, disorders, content like that around the body. We do have resources that we can point you to for finding solutions around that. But talking about specific programs for specific condition is not what we're here for. We're here to help you guys understand the technology, understand the apps, the systems, the philosophy, the theories, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that sounds good to you, and please invite your friends, anybody that wants to come join us. This is open to everybody. So thanks for being here. Let's get this party started.
Yes, let's get things going in the chat.
So make sure you put your questions in the chat. I don't think there's really anything too big or too small. It's always fun to get some new stuff, but hey,
Yeah.
if you got something that's still just not quite understood, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I had I wear my Healy all the time. I mean, it's almost like part of my daily routine, getting ready in the morning. I add the Healy. If it's my day off as far as running any programs, then I may not put it on that day, but I do take a couple days off a week, sometimes at least one, sometimes two. And that's a good idea to make sure your body has time to acclimate and re-energize itself from its own form. But I get questions all the time when I'm wearing my Healy around, what is that? So maybe you guys put in the chat, if somebody asks you, what is that? What do you say? Have you got those questions out there, Jake? People ask you, what is that?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And it's always something that they need. There's not a single person on this planet that can say that there's nothing in the Healy device program library that they don't need.
That's the beautiful thing about it, is like we can talk to any stranger, any person, even when they have a pet, we can talk to anyone and find relevancy in as to how Healy can interact and interface with their lives. Right, that's the cool thing about it. There's really not an environment that we're not touching upon. So my circle is, I was just on a bit of a vacation. I was up in a coastal city around Oregon, and I just happened to walk into a souvenir shop and wearing this device. And the guy asked me, he goes, "Hey, I'm a coach for the high school teams for the cross country." And I said, "Oh my gosh, we have a fitness page just for that." Right.
Yeah.
So again, it's a great way of opening up a conversation and talking about how the system's going to benefit anybody.
Yeah.
So Marty has a question here. So if someone asks you, what do you say in simple words and easy to understand? So think about what Healy is. what Healy is, and for the most part, and the way that I wear it, and you probably see Jake wear it this way as well, often is with the wristbands and the leads. So I use it in terms of the microcurrent application. So if you were to do a little bit of research on microcurrent, you can see that it dates way, way back to the early 1900s. And microcurrent has a huge advantage in applying energy into the body, because it speaks to the cells from a subconscious level, and it increases ATP production. It increases amino acid transport and protein synthesis. This is a lot of stuff that's already researched, and that's why Healy uses it, because of that advantage. So when people ask me, what is that? I'm increasing energy in my body, right? And I can talk about the program I'm running in the moment, whatever it is. And I actually say exactly that. I'm actually increasing energy in my body with this system. So that's what I say. You want to try to come up with things that feel good to you, but that's really, go simple, go very simple. Try not to get too complicated in terms of science, but use references and information that's easily looked up, and people can really get great content from it. So microcurrent's a big one, to be able to speak a unified language.
Yeah, and there's actually this on the same topic. You know, there's some great materials available in the download section of Back Office and Healy Academy. But if you were just to go to, let's just say, let me pull this up over here. And if we go to Healy Academy, again, every Tech Tip Tuesday, got to mention, go to Healy Academy because there's such a great resource there. But if you go to the download section, so we're in the Healy Academy, academy.healy.world. In the download section, just sorted by presentation. And if you do that, there's a bunch of different presentations on certain modules and additions and that kind of thing. Scientific basis, but there's here in the additions overview, this is a great document as well, in addition to some of these presentations on the company. But if you were to open this additions overview, and that would take you to this here, it talks about the additions, program groups, and more. And there's a very simple part, in the beginning here, just what is Healy? It's a smart wearable device for holistic well-being and vitality, and all additions use individualized microcurrent frequency. That's a key thing when you're talking about Healy, especially for people that might be familiar with other types of frequency devices. That's unique to Healy, but they're designed to support well-being through harmonization of the bioenergetic field and analysis of the information field. So it's kind of if you're looking for a way to describe it, this is a great starting point. You can, of course, add or subtract or change this up too. But this brochure in general, or this presentation, is great because it has it shows a comparison of all the different editions. It talks a little bit about each, and also has some of the studies mixed in there as well, related to some of the programs. So this is a great one to download and keep on your phone or on your laptop or whatever desktop that you can reference and share with people as well.
Yeah, I highly recommend doing a little Healy school, right? A little Healy University, and just going through that several times so you can have some kind of an understanding. It just comes with experience, and with time you get a little bit more understanding. Okay, so here's Susan's got a question. She's pretty new to Healy. Welcome. Glad you're here, by the way. And she was told to use the gold cycle 2 times a day for a couple of weeks from their homeopath. After doing that for 3 days, I started having some migraines, some headaches, some troubles. I'm wondering, is that a detox? We've seen this kind of response before. So let me tell you something about self-care protocol, folks. When you start using this energetic It is a cleansing. It is an amplifier. It is a charging system. It is a alignment modality. So think about that. If you are doing anything from a holistic perspective that is clearing out old stuff and energizing good stuff, like let's say you start a workout protocol, right? And you're going to maybe go to the gym or something like that. And maybe you got a trainer, and that trainer's running you through some very specific exercises based on your goal. So that trainer has a lot of experience in how to move you into where you want to be. However, the side effects from when you begin to where you wind up, closer to your goal, some side effects are going to start manifesting. Sore muscles, right? Being tired, various ways in which your body's going to try to adjust to this new activity. So same thing with Healy. There's various ways your body's going to try to adjust. And detoxing is one thing your body's going to try to do. What we need to remember, the self-care protocol, is that we hydrate properly, right? Very, very important. Probably the number one thing, and it doesn't matter even if you're doing a fitness protocol, hydration is going to be number one in any self-care system. And to properly hydrate your body is going to require half your body weight in ounces of water as a minimum. So if you're 150 pounds or 100 pounds, whatever. If you're 100 pounds, that's 50 ounces of water every single day. Okay, every single day. If you're more active, it's going to be more than that. If it's hotter out, it's going to be more than that. If you're carrying a little excessive weight on your body, it's going to be more than that. So the point is, a minimum is half your body weight in ounces of water. And headaches are a very clear sign. Headaches, muscle aches, joint discomforts, brain fog, even some dizziness, that can be very clear symptoms of detoxing, changing the body's, I don't like to say chemistry, but state of being. So increase your water a lot. Your body's going to shed what it doesn't need. And I doubt you'll overdrink the water, because it's just, a lot of people are dehydrated. Let me give you a little equation. I'm a performance coach. I do a lot of things in performance and with athletes, and just 3% dehydration in your body, just 3% equates to up to 10% loss of muscle strength. Now think about this for a second. If you lose 10% of your muscle strength, how do you feel? How do you feel? You feel sluggish, don't you? It feels like your legs are heavier, your arms are heavier, you're a little bit more tired, all that kind of stuff. Yes? Right? So the other thing that happens, just that 3% dehydration, you lose up to 8% of the muscle's contractile or extension speed. So you're slower, okay? So when we're working with athletes, I mean, that's a big deal, is maintaining hydration, because those muscle fibers can't function as smoothly when there's not enough hydration, proper intracellular and extracellular hydration. So that's going to be a huge asset for you in managing any kind of symptoms. And that's good coaching, by the way, by your homeopath, to use the Gold Cycle page. That Gold Cycle page is the way of easing in to the use of Healy, whether it be the microcurrent or the coil. It's the way of easing in, and it's with every edition. Every edition has it. That's why it's there. Anything you want to add to that, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, that was great. There's a lot of variables, I think, when you're getting started here. For example, I've heard it as well. A lot of people like to start with the Gold Cycle, which is perfectly fine. And within each program, are you using these programs twice per day with microcurrent? Is the intensity possibly too high? Maybe you need to start at the lowest possible level to kind of get used to it, or maybe back it down to once per day. There's not one answer that applies to everybody. You could tell the same people to do the same protocol 2 times per day to start for a couple of weeks and have 2 very different results from that, or effects from being introduced in the microcurrent for the first time. So yeah, I mean, if you're having any any sort of issues. We always like to say less is more when it comes to this. If you're in that higher range on the intensity, back it down to as low as possible to where you're still getting conductivity. And make sure you're taking a day off, at least one day off per week, not doing this 7 days a week as well. And if you have a coil, maybe do one microcurrent in one program and just one with the coil to start, rather than multiple programs with the microcurrent per day. And I'm assuming you mentioned the gold cycle 2 times per day, that you're just doing 2 programs from the gold cycle, not the entire gold cycle group twice per day, because that would definitely be way too much. But I'm assuming that's not the case. But yeah, just be mindful of how you're feeling, and there's no reason to rush or to push yourself through if that initial recommendation from your homeopath isn't working well for you right now.
Yeah, it's not uncommon though, to experience those kind of detox type of symptoms. It's not uncommon. So you're not doing anything wrong, unless you're doing the whole page per day. That's a bit too much. But yeah, you just listen to your body. Definitely listen to your body. Take some breaks. The other part of that self-care protocol that I always recommend is grounding. I highly recommend that if your homeopath didn't already talk to you about this, spacing your programs out, an hour apart, and then spending at least 15 minutes just doing some grounding. I guess 10 minutes is fine too, but that grounding means that you're barefoot on the earth, right? In the grass, in the dirt, on the beach, in the water, whatever. You're grounding yourself so that this microcurrent charge can rebalance within this body, even if you're using the coil, because the coil induces a magnetic signal out into the field, which is you, because you're wearing the Healy. And then that magnetic field is induced back into current flow, microcurrent flow, electron flow in your body. So it's real similar in the way it works. So it's still going to be required for you to do some grounding, to make sure you're hydrated, and make sure that you're giving space between programs. But great question. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Here's another one for us, Jake. Need some clarification. When using the blue dot analyzing yourself, right? That's the blue dot's basically analyzing the self, the client, the person, right? The pink dot, if I understand it correctly, is it has yourself as a target. Now, pink dot has only the one in proximity of the Healy as the target. Okay, not necessarily you. So when you're running the pink dot, so when you're running the blue dot analysis, right, you are connected to a, I like your word target, but it's a client. All right, it's a client. Whoever the client is that you're doing the analysis on, and then sending, if you're sending any frequencies to that client, that is a quantum entanglement between the Healy, the Healy itself, the software of the app, and that entity, that being, whether it's a person, an animal, a plant, whatever, but that particular being. Okay, that's the blue dot. It's connected via quantum entanglement. The pink dot, anything you run from that, or and remember, the pink dot also operates the MagHealy. But if you're running the pink dot for either one of those devices, it's simply activating the function of the device, okay, to permeate information to the environment, the proximity. So if you are connected to the Healy device via the electrodes, you're the only one, you're the one getting that information into your body through that microcurrent transmission. If you're running the coil, it's sending it as a spherical magnetic wave. And so anyone within that sphere is getting the same information. Okay. With a MagHealy, same thing. It's magnetic wave. So it's anything within the proximity of the MagHealy within its transmission, or I should say maximum transmission distance. That's 3 meters, right? It's pretty good size. But anyone in that sphere is getting that magnetic signal, that information. And those bodies are then, like I mentioned before, when that magnetic wave hits the body is an antenna. It takes that magnetic wave, converts it into electron flow, and it flows through your nervous systems, your cells, your every bit of the water molecules within your body, and gives that information to your body. Okay. So yes, if there are pets or multiple people within the proximity of the MagHealy, they're going to get that. If there are people sitting on your lap or a pet on your lap, when you're running the Healy and the coil, same magnetic energy is being emitted from the Healy with the coil. Those entities are going to experience that information, that frequency. Okay. When you're connected to the microcurrent, a little bit different story. If you're running the IMF programs, those are optimized for the coil as well as being usable by the electrodes. The Healy does emit a frequency transmission. So there's a bit of an influence from that, but really it's designed for the microcurrent when you're connected like this. The Healy transmits a smaller sphere with the coil, roughly around a 3-foot diameter. That's a pretty good size ball, right? And remember, the coil's design is there's essentially 2 magnetic fields that this is generating, one direction and one the other, 180 degrees off from each other. And when you're wearing it, you're in the center of that field. So anything that's within your proximity is also in the center of that field, getting that information. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Looks like Christian put a video in there for you.
Yeah, and there's with the MagHealy too. When we introduced the Meridian module late last year, that was the first time you could connect the MagHealy to the Analyse app. Before, it was exclusively in the Healy 2 app, and everything would be run through that. And Ken just talked about, of course, maybe when you're using the atmosphere programs, that kind of thing, how it influence everyone in that area surrounding the MagHealy. But if you were to do like an analysis with analysis, like run the Meridian module with the MagHealy in the Analyse 2 app, for that one, you are picking a specific target, whether it's yourself or one of your clients as well. So that one's more similar to as if you were running an analysis in the Analyse app with a Healy. You're just connecting to the MagHealy this time, which has 2 resonance sensors, not just one, like the Healy. And to do, I mean, the Meridian module, for those of you that don't have it, is really, it's a very powerful, very in-depth module for the MagHealy. So it's, if you really want to fully utilize the power of the MagHealy, it's definitely worth adding on there. So,
Yeah,
and I'll give you a sneak peek. We're going to have a great promo on it starting on August 1st. So,
ooh, you heard it here first, you guys. Awesome. Thanks for that. Now, and remember, so the MagHealy and the Healy, they both are similar when running the pink dot. Okay. Within like the magnetic wave, if the Healy is running the coil and the MagHealy is running, something, the Healy with the coil is running magnetic energy, and the MagHealy is using magnetic energy. The uniqueness of the Healy is the microcurrent when you're running the pink dot. The MagHealy cannot run microcurrent into the body. It's not made for that. It's made for sending out magnetic energy at a bigger sphere, a little more higher power. And as Jake said, there are 2 transmitters systems in there that can do 2 frequencies at the same time if you're running one of the programs that are utilizing that. The MagMaken module does all that. But when the other side of the similarity coin is the blue app, the Analyse app does run the MagHealy, as Jake said, within that Meridian module. So you can do analysis there. But it's still, remember, it's going to have a client. Always has to have a client, right? Some target, some connection in the quantum field. Okay. So Marty's got a question here. It says, so with the Healy coil, how high should the intensity be? Is it a good idea to use coil twice a day and then the microcurrent once, or vice versa. So the recommended daily use for the microcurrent is 2 programs a day. The coil, on the other hand, really doesn't have a limit, right? The limit is you. You know, you need to pay attention to you and your body and anything that's going on, because if you're running 10 programs with the coil, which you probably won't be able to because you'll run the battery dead, but you're running a lot of programs with the coil and your 2 programs with the microcurrent, you know, that's a lot of information for the body. You know, it's like reading 5 books at the same time, right? It's a lot of information, and you need to let your body decipher that. And so it's a good idea, you know, stick with 2 of the microcurrent programs a day. And then with the coil, you know, give it a test drive. Now, the intensity of the coil can go up to 100%. And a lot of the programs, you want to be at 60 or above, right? That's kind of the recommendation for the coil. The higher you have the intensity with the coil, the quicker you run the battery down. But I'll give you a little hint. It's still not as quick as if you're hooked to the microcurrent on max, on high intensity. The microcurrent is probably the highest and the fastest battery consumer, because it is taking that, basically you are a load. You as the body is this resistive load for this circuit consuming this information. When it comes to the coil, that's just a magnetic wave. It's not quite the same load. It's a lesser of a load. So you're usually able, not usually, you are able to run more of the coil programs or the microcurrent programs with the coil than you could the other way with the microcurrent. Okay.
Yeah, and if you're looking for everything Ken said was, of course, great there. You know, the official recommendation, the range is very big. You know, Ken mentioned a lot of people like to run it at 100%. The official range is anywhere from 30 to 100%. So, yeah, I mean that's a that's a very big range that you have there. And as Ken mentioned, it depends on you for sure. You know, some people are a lot more sensitive to it and they like to run it lower. Well, yeah, just of course listen to yourself there. And but yeah, as Ken mentioned, those are great recommendations for the twice per day, and then mixing in some coil as well.
Yeah. So that coil, by the way, guys, you know, the higher your intensity, the stronger that magnetic wave, right? Okay. So when you have a stronger magnetic wave, it goes further in distance. It's still the maximum effective range is about that 3 feet. Now, it doesn't mean at 3 feet it stops. No, it continues on and just amplify, or the amplitude goes down the further away. The lower you have that intensity, the shorter the range, right? But again, feel it. And some people are very sensitive and can't go very high. So yeah, hydrate. I want to keep emphasizing that.
Ken, we got I like this question here, very interesting. This person's having some issues with their throat, and the HealAdvisor Search is recommending a tonsil program. It says, is this still valid? Since my tonsils have been out for 70 years. So that is a great question. And, you know, a lot of times we get some of these questions, whether it's, you know, programs recommending female programs for male or male programs for female, or prostate for female, that kind of thing. And Ken, I know you always have a great way of describing this, as far as it's talking about the energy center or area in that area, not specifically that exact necessarily that exact organ or that kind of thing. But yeah, I would say 100% that it's still valid and worth running. That's what came back for your result there.
Exactly. Remember that the analysis is not looking at this, what we consider this physical form, so much as it is looking at the energetic representation of you. And so now think about this for a second. When we remove a component of the body, then the present, I should say, the blueprint of that is still there. There's photography that can actually take an image of a plant, a leaf, and then cut a piece of that leaf off, and then take a look at the image, and it still shows an outline of the entire leaf. So the energetic expression or the blueprint of you is still there, with or without tonsils. They're still there, with or without, if someone has lost a limb or whatever, there's still that energetic blueprint. Your quantum blueprint still has all of that content. And so when the analysis is looking at something going on in you, and it does look at energy centers within the body, and we have these standard 7 energy centers, and you've heard them as chakras, right? From the root chakra all the way up to the crown. And each one of these centers has their own intelligence, has their own network of organs and systems that function as their own standalone process. Of course, the brain still orchestrates all of that, and feedback from the body is still given to the brain. And so there's still a dance going on around those systems. But when the analysis app identifies a program, it's going to be looking at that as a blueprint. And so there's frequencies within that program that I highly recommend that you run, with or without tonsils. It's still considering the energy center, which is the 5th center, the throat chakra, the 5th center of you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of content in there. The thyroid gland, there's a lot of content in there. Even when people have the thyroid removed, as Jake said, we've had people say, hey, I'm a woman, I had the prostate program come up. Well, that's an energy center that there's frequencies in that program necessary for that body, for that entity, for that blueprint. So yes, definitely run them. Okay. All right. So Carrie says, lately I've been having an issue of no current detected in the Pink app. If I put the bracelet super tight, it helps, but is uncomfortable, right? I seem to always be dehydrated, but is there a quick fix? Try a little moist paper under the bracelets, works sometimes. Any recommendations? So Christian's put some content in there. Now I want you guys, we need to look at things a little bit more broad. There are certain frequencies that are like below 400 hertz that what we call closer to density, closer to matter, material form of you. And it may take more current flow to get those frequencies through the body from point A to point B. Wherever the sticky pads or the electrodes are connected, there is resistance between those 2 points. All right. The first line of resistance is the bracelet or the sticky pad to the skin. One of the things that's important is that the skin not have a lot of moisturizers. What are moisturizers? Lotions and potions and those kind of things, essential oils, those kind of things. Those are insulators, folks. They don't conduct as well. And so that's how those things hold moisture into the body, right? Is to keep it from coming out, from evaporating. So some of those lotions and things are not conductive and they don't help, right? So if you wash the area of your body where you're going to put the electrodes, wash them with some pH balanced soap. And then what I do is I wet the electrode. I get the electrode wet. You're not going to hurt it. The wristband, you won't hurt it. Get it wet and then put it on the body. And definitely not too tight, right? It should not slide up and down on your body. It should stay put. Okay. Now, if you get it too tight, that's not going to be comfortable, as you said. But that moisture is going to help a lot. The dehydration part, if we're not drinking enough water, now not just water, but electrolytes. Electrolytes is another thing to consider. Look at your diet. Take a look at what you're ingesting in terms of, mineral content, because that's where your electrolytes are. If you're not getting a lot of great whole foods, maybe your electrolytes are a little low, maybe you need to add a supplement of electrolytes in with your water as well. You know, if it's intermittent like that, it's probably not hardware, right? So I just want to make sure that we are addressing hardware, but it's intermittent, so it's probably not hardware. One of the tests that I like to do to see if it's connective issues is I will just, when I get that signal, I will just press the two connecting points together on my wrist, just press them together, just hold it and see what happens. Because what that does is that presses the connection into the wristband and the wristband into my body, into my skin. And if there's a connection issue, it's going to show up. If it's a wristband to my skin issue, it's going to help that. So hydration, electrolytes, those are the things you can do for your body. Another thing you can do is to increase surface area contact of the wristband, you can move it further up on the arm, so it's a bigger diameter. You get more surface area contact. I've got kind of hairy arms, and so, you know, putting it in a spot where it's really hairy is not going to help a lot. But these are just some things to pay attention to. And remember, the lower the frequency, the higher the current may need to be. So if you've put a moist paper towel under it, that didn't seem to help much. Like I said, I get the whole wristband wet and making sure my skin is clean, put the wristband on, and then go from there. You can use cotton balls under there too, but that's not all that convenient, is it? You know, work with your body first. Get those electrolytes up and hydration up. If you tend to be dehydrated, that's a clue. Okay.
So she just moved it up on her arm and it helped. So yeah, I mean, it could be something as simple as that. Of course, all the tips, you know, are worth doing. But yeah, sometimes, yeah, just having a little bit more, as Ken mentioned, surface area for the wristband electrodes to be in contact with is sometimes all it takes.
Yeah, it's really important. You know, you're not going to do it wrong. Don't put them around your neck, but you know, the arms are spots. You're just taking a look at you know, where you can apply them to get more surface area contact. The sticky pads, remember, they're small. That's 1.2 square inches of material, right? The sticky pads. But those are designed for other applications more than the wristbands. The wristbands are more around the wrist. But they are, you know, they're 3/4 of an inch wide and they're very long. So you can get up to 3 inches of surface area contact, right? So you can get a lot more. And the bigger the diameter of the arm, the more surface area contact. Okay. Okay, so here's let's see, comments here. A few weeks ago, you spent some time on running the pink dot. And let's see, and more Healys and or with the MagHealy. Is there any listing a person can view? See about the app. Hang on a second here.
I think this goes along with, you know, some of the things that we've talked about as far as, okay, if you want to run a program with your Healy and the same time one with your MagHealy, or maybe a microcurrent program with your Healy and then one with your coil at the same time. Like how would you pick programs that complement each other? You know, and was there any way that you would pick two bad ones? I mean, none of the Healy programs are bad, first of all. But yeah, like what would make the most sense? I know, can you pair a lot of these programs, maybe fitness programs or that kind of thing, together as well. So is there, but there's not, first of all, there's not an official guide from Healy. This is not really one of the official uses. It's kind of like an off label, whatever. But of course, the Healy and MagHealy are designed to be, they can be used together. They work very well together, and can enhance each other as well. So, but yeah, there is no sort of guide on pairing two different programs together with different devices.
Yeah, there's not. Yeah, so you're talking about running multiple Healy, multiple devices, or multiple applications at the same time. Put it that way, multiple applications at the same time. And could there be, bad effects? So first of all, just as you saw one of the earlier in the comments, even the gold cycle running, multiple programs in a day, can net an effect of the body trying to balance and rebalance and maybe some detox symptoms. So it's not really a negative thing. That's just when we clear out, decades of garbage in our body, no different than if you're doing a water cleanse or, many cleanses out there that people are doing nutritionally. Your body dumps things, even, it dumps content. The idea is to allow the body to flush and use the excretion systems that are naturally there. And our lymphatic system is one of those gifts that we have that we rarely do enough work to activate. All right. And to activate that, we need hydration. We need movement. And so Healy does that. It starts to activate those things. And so our body has a response. So if we're running multiple, it doesn't matter if it's microcurrent or magnetic via MagHealy or coil, we're running multiple programs at the same time. You're giving a lot of information to the body, right? In a tangible way. Electromagnetic fields or microcurrent fields, and the body's going to respond in whatever way those frequencies are provoking it to do so or encouraging it to do so. So just think about that. If you're running, I use a lot of just my own intuition, but let's just get reasonable for a second. We have, I don't know, over 300 microcurrent programs, right?
Yeah.
And each one of those has a lot of frequencies contained within them. Healy transmits between the range of 0.1 hertz and 1 million hertz, and it breaks it down into 1/10 of an increment. So over 9 million frequencies that it has at its fingertips to apply for these different program modalities. So they're still, though, within a bandwidth of alignment, not misalignment, alignment. Now, I want you guys to really hear me. Sometimes to align your body means to misalign all the bad things you've been doing. Okay. Does that make sense? Right? We need to stop doing certain things. Our own lifestyle is creating a lot of these dysfunctions in our body. So Healy's trying to align those things energetically. And so it's going to give you, perhaps a side effect if you keep doing those misaligned things when Healy's trying to align you. And so the more Healys or MagHealys you run at the same time, the more encouragement for alignment your body's going to get. And so the more effect might take place. So there's not really a combination of programs that could be bad. They just may not be like one may not amplify the other. They may just work separately on two different things. Does that make sense? Like when I'm doing the fitness page program, I might run the microcurrent for the microcurrent program. I'll be using the muscle stimulation program under microcurrent while running the MagHealy for one of the fitness protocols. I don't know, or two Healys, one with the muscle stimulation and via microcurrent, and then the coil with say the strength program. So those two are kind of combining information to that genetic code to help me build a body or a muscle system that is not only strong, but also energized in stimulation. So just look at the programs and see, do they make sense to run together? There really aren't any that are, like I said, against each other. They just may be working on two different things, you know, seemingly unrelated. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't see any new questions. Maybe did I lose you
No,
guys?
I think we are caught up, but we can just mention a couple things. So tomorrow, there is no What's Up Wednesday tomorrow. It's the last day of the month. So a lot of people focusing on closing out the month strong. So we're going to skip tomorrow, but Thursday, the day after on August 1st, we have Frequencies and Friends. So we'll see you all at noon Eastern time for Frequencies and Friends. Definitely register for that if you have not already. And the link to that is always available at HealyAmericasEvents.com. It's got our whole calendar with the links to each of our events as well. And then next week, for those of you wondering when we're doing our next Healy for Beginners and Beyond, we're going to do that next Thursday, August 8th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'll have the official agenda available by early next week, but we're going to be focusing on the Analyse app and specifically some of the most commonly asked questions. So I've been kind of looking around. There's been a lot of questions floating around on some of the message boards and chats and incoming tickets and stuff that I've kind of just been slowly compiling a list of some of the things that, some people just don't know because they haven't, maybe gone through some of our official resources and things like that. But we're going to answer some of those things and maybe also talk about some of the common misconceptions too. Some of the things that people maybe thought were true, but maybe aren't really, is not really the case. And we'll kind of talk a little bit about why that is and kind of help you get the best experience out of using the Analyse 2 app. So, yeah, looking forward to that.
It's going to be fun. I love
Yeah.
it. Those Healy for Beginners and Beyonds are that's different than this. This is an open forum, right? Where we've got the chat room's open. You guys put whatever you want, but there's going to be an agenda to that one. So definitely tune in and take a look. So August 8th, 8/8/24.
And yeah, you do need to register for that one as well. If you've registered for one in the past, I believe it registers you for all the future ones as well, but I'll go ahead and put the link here in the chat for that too.
All right. Let's see. How are we doing there? Looks like we're caught up. Okay. Always like seeing some improvements when, some of the suggestions,
Yeah.
and see some improvements from functions from our audience. That's great. Thanks for the feedback, you guys. And by the way, if there's links or content and, Jake just put the link for the registration. If that stuff is what you want to hold on to, you can save the chat to your computer. If you're on your PC or laptop, there's 3 little dots somewhere there in your chat box, 3 little dots, tap on those. It's going to pull down a menu that says save chat. And at the end of our call, you're going to get a little message on your computer screen that says save chat. And you can keep that on your, in your hard drive or on your desktop, whatever. And you'll have all these links. Okay. So Rhonda's asking, where is the best place to really learn all the uses? I'm just kind of getting started and all over the place. You know what? I'm with you, Rhonda. The Academy today the Academy is crazy awesome compared to when I first started. So it's been almost 5 years ago now, Jake. Ugh. Wow. When I got started, and I'm an electronics engineer. I'm very techie. I studied wave theory for years. A lot of this, the way that Healy works, I understand it from the nuts and bolts, the theory, the concepts, all that. So it wasn't a far stretch for me to understand, but I get it. There's a lot to understand, and it takes time. I highly recommend that you spend an hour a day. And I know I get people on my team saying an hour a day in Healy school. In Healy school, that means the Academy. If you are a member, you have a back office. It's got a lot of downloads, right? Jake showed one earlier, which is a presentation about how Healy works and some of the basics there. But you can go pretty deep. And now with the science and stuff that's out there, oh my gosh, there's some longer videos. So yeah, I mean, and
Yeah, 100%. Start in Healy Academy, and that will give you weeks of content, most likely. If you were to go through all this. So to log in, you just go to academy.healy.world. You log in with the same ID, password that you use for the apps, for the Healy shop, that kind of thing. And then once you're in, for example, if you just go to like the Healy product section, there's a ton of videos here for steps, guide for your device, installing, connecting, running programs, troubleshooting, how the Healy programs work, tuning the bioenergetic field. So, maybe this is week one. You watch the Healy app videos, and then, okay, you want to learn more about the Analyse app. So you can go to the Analyse app section, getting started, Aura module, resonance module, demo mode, settings, Meridian module, detailed trainings on that. There's a new video or newer video on the Bach flower analysis as well, along with downloads that go along with it. If you have a MagHealy, there's a MagHealy section. There's all kinds of videos on the coaching module, the science behind Healy, the science behind the information field, meridians, the medical certifications, magnetic fields. There's courses too. So after you watch these videos, go here and you can go to getting started with Healy. And once you watch each of the videos, you'll be able to take the course. This has already been completed here, but you can download a certificate too, which is cool. That shows that you completed that course. There's a whole section on the business. So if you're looking to, maybe how to earn bonuses for selling Healys to other people as well. There's a whole section on how to do that and help you kind of be successful on the business side as well. There's a news section, the downloads. We showed this earlier, but so all these videos are great. In the download section, a lot of people don't like to read product manuals, but if you're looking for more information about what each of the programs does, each of the modules, that kind of thing, go in here, download the Healy app manual, the HealAdvisor Analyse app manual, which has just been recently updated as well. And if you have a MagHealy, the MagHealy manual is here too. You can view each of these from within the app itself, but a lot of times you want easier to just to download it to your phone or laptop or something like that to reference. But those are longer manuals. I think the Healy app manual one's close to 50 pages long, but it has information on all 200 plus programs that are available there. So yeah, this is a great resource, and you can sort from manual, flyers, presentations, that kind of thing. And then after that, go over to actually I was going to find this. Well, go to, what can I see? My screen here. Oh, let me stop this real quick. I couldn't get over to the YouTube channel. Okay, let me go back here now. Okay.
Yeah, you're showing one page, right?
Yeah, okay, so yeah, now this is our YouTube channel. So HealyAmericas.com. This is where you go for like recordings of this. So this is for Tech Tip Tuesday. You would go here, recordings of What's Up Wednesday as well. There you can see there's the Residence Podcast too, which is available here. So if you wanted to go back and look at prior Tech Tip Tuesdays, you can just go to the playlist section, go to Tech Tip Tuesday, view full playlist, and then you'll see here we have some of the information that was covered here. Let's just go to the last one. We skipped last week, but the week before that, this was our Tech Tip Tuesday. And if you go down into the description and click more, you'll see each of the segments are hyperlinked. So you see an overview of the new device self-transfer, demonstration on how to use HealAdvisor search function. You can just click on that timestamp and it'll take you right to that segment. So if you just want to watch bits and pieces of it instead of the whole hour-long episode, you can just do that as well, and pick out the ones that you want to watch. And actually, I should make a note of this. So if you're just getting started too, we definitely invite you to register for one of our new Healy onboarding sessions also. So this is actually, let me pull this up. Hold on a second here.
You know, like I mentioned earlier, guys, that if you just spend an hour a day, you saw there the Tech Tip Tuesdays, there's like 110 episodes, right? And that's of an hour per. So there's 110 days. Now, again, you don't want to watch them all, but maybe you do. Get some popcorn, hang out. But the point is, there's a lot of resources here that weren't around, you know, a year ago. And Jake showed you those courses within the Healy Academy. Phenomenal, because if you do those courses, answer those questions, watch those videos, each course by course, you're going to have a lot more skills, a lot more understanding than you do now. I promise you, just doing that.
Yeah, so anyway, I'll just put the link in here. It's HealyOnboarding.com. And you can pick a date and time that work for you for your interactive onboarding session.
Another great new feature that just got started. What, last week or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, and there's some new stuff coming out as well. There's going to be a version in Spanish starting in mid-August, and then we're also going to add sessions for the Analyse 2 app, and then MagHealy, and then HealAdvisor app. So they're not all going to start all at once. We're going to kind of every couple of weeks, every month or so, add on a new session to where there'll be a very comprehensive library of onboarding opportunities.
Isn't that great, you guys? Oh my gosh. And Carrie, so Jake kind of answered your question there as to where are the definitions of all the program names and what they hope to accomplish. So that manual is going to be your friend. And like Jake said, you can get to it through the app, or you can go to the download section there and grab it there. Have that handy. I had to get a 1 terabyte phone so that I have all these resources that I have at my fingertips. I mean, somebody asked me a question, I'm like, oh, hang on, I got that, but I don't recommend you guys do that. I'm not saying you have to do that, but as a technician, as pioneer here in the US, I get a lot of questions about, I live, breathe, and talk Healy all the time. So this, your smart device is your friend. If you download these things and have them at your fingertips, but know what's in there. All right, guys, we are at the end of our hour. Time flies when you're having fun. Thanks, Jake. Thanks, Christian. Thank you, audience. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate that. If this was helpful for you, please tell a friend. and have them join us next week for another one of our episodes. Like Jake said, no What's Up Wednesday tomorrow, but definitely register for Frequencies and Friends and be there on the 1st.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thanks,
Well,
Jake.
We'll see you all in August.
Woohoo! See you next month.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Thank you very much. Click on those 3 little dots, save your chat before we get off here. If this was helpful for you, thumbs up. All right, guys. And make sure to go to a YouTube channel, subscribe so you can get these new recordings and notifications. Okay. All right, guys. Have a good one. Bye, Jake. Bye,
Thank
Christian.
you.